Excluded from my brother's graduation party, I booked a trip to Hawaii. They begged me to come back to help when the party exploded into chaos. I wasn't expecting a red carpet or fireworks, but I definitely wasn't expecting to be excluded entirely. It started with a group text from my mom. "Hey everyone, the final guest list for Jason's graduation bash is set. Can't wait to celebrate with you all." I scrolled through the list of names she included. Cousins, old family friends, distant relatives I hadn't seen since I was 12. But somehow my name wasn't there. I double-checked thinking, maybe she forgot to tag me. She didn't. At first I thought it was some kind of oversight. I mean, I'm Jason's sister, his older sister, the one who drove him to campus tours, who lent him rent money more than once, who stayed up with him during his all-nighters and edited his thesis because you're better at grammar than me. So I called my mom. She answered with her usual chipper tone. "Hey sweetheart, what's up? I didn't see my name on the graduation party list," I said as calmly as I could. There was a pause. "Oh yeah. Well honey, Jason wanted it to be more of a young crowd, you know? His college friends, that kind of vibe. We figured you'd understand." Understand? Understand what? That my little brother could throw a party and I, his own sibling, wasn't even considered? I didn't say anything. I just listened to her ramble through half-hearted explanations. "It's not personal," she added. "We just didn't want things to feel awkward. With Ava being there, Ava, my ex-best friend, the same Ava who hooked up with Jason a few months after we stopped speaking. I hadn't spoken to her since the betrayal and now she was apparently on the guest list. Oh come on," Mom said when I went silent. "Don't make this a thing. It's just a party." I hung up without replying. My hands were shaking. This wasn't just a party. This was years of giving, supporting, sacrificing, and suddenly being deemed unimportant when it no longer suited them. I had always played the role of the peacemaker, the fixer, the dependable daughter, but clearly I was only valuable when I was useful. And in that moment, something inside me snapped. After I ended the call, I just sat there staring at nothing, my thoughts spiraling into a blur of disbelief, anger, and hurt. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Jason's graduation was a milestone, something I'd supported him through every step of the way. And now that it was time to celebrate, I wasn't just forgotten. I was deliberately excluded. My own mother made it clear that my presence was inconvenient, that my feelings were secondary to keeping Ava comfortable. Ava, who'd betrayed me and apparently still had a permanent pass into the family circle. The more I thought about it, the more I realized how often this had happened. Not just now, not just with this party. There had been birthdays they forgot to invite me to, family dinners where I'd be notified last minute or not at all, calls that only came when someone needed something. I had always said yes, always showed up, always been the reliable one, and it had gotten me nowhere. So I closed my laptop, stood up, and grabbed a glass of wine from the kitchen. I took a long sip and stared out my apartment window at the dusky skyline. Then I grabbed my phone, opened my browser, and searched one word. Hawaii felt impulsive, reckless even. But it also felt right. If they could throw a party without me, I could live my life without waiting for their approval. I wasn't about to sit around wallowing while they laughed over drinks with Ava like everything was perfect. I booked a 5-night stay at a beachfront resort on the Big Island, oceanfront suite, spa access, infinity pool, the works. I even upgraded to first class on the flight. For once I wasn't budgeting for someone else's needs. I was investing in my own peace. Once the confirmation emails came through, I let out a long breath. I hadn't realized I was holding. Then I opened Instagram and posted a simple story, a photo of my flight confirmation with the caption, "Uninvited, but not unwanted." Island vibes, family drama. I wasn't expecting a big reaction, but within minutes it started. Cousin Tara replied with a laughing emoji. "Okay queen, go off." My friend Mason messaged, "Wait, what? They really didn't invite you. That's messed up. You deserve better." But the one comment that sent me reeling came from Ava. "Yes, Ava," she replied to my story with, "Glad you found something to do. We didn't want drama anyway." I froze. My jaw clenched so hard it hurt. She wasn't just tolerating my absence. She was relishing it, celebrating it, and my own family was letting her. I didn't reply. I didn't block her either. I simply turned off my notifications, poured another glass of wine, and smiled because in that moment I knew I was doing the right thing. The next morning I packed my bags with a kind of quiet defiance I hadn't felt in years. Every swimsuit, every sundress I folded into my suitcase felt like an act of rebellion, a declaration of self-worth. The airport was buzzing with noise, but I floated through it, earbuds and playlist on, sunglasses hiding my exhausted eyes. I boarded my flight early and settled into my seat, leather wide plush, grateful for the small luxury as the plane took off. I stared out the window and watched the city fade beneath the clouds. I wasn't running away. I was choosing myself. Somewhere over the Pacific, I ordered champagne and snapped a quick photo of my extended legs. Drink in hand, captioned, "Cheers to being cut off and flying first class. Palm tree airplane." I hit post and leaned back feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. By the time I landed, my DMs were flooded. Terror again. Okay, I'm officially jealous old high school friend. You look so unbothered. Teach me your ways. Even Mason chimed back in. You seriously win. Let them have their party. You're having a life. I checked the message request just out of curiosity and sure enough there she was again. My mom, where are you? Are you really skipping your brother's graduation over this? No. Because of this, I thought. I didn't respond. Outside the airport, a private car waited for me complete with cold bottled water and fresh orchids on the seat. The air smelled like sea breeze and plumeria. It was like the world itself was affirming my decision. When I arrived at the resort, the concierge greeted me with a warm towel and a welcome cocktail. I was escorted to my suite where floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked endless turquoise waves. The bed looked like a cloud. The balcony had a hammock swaying softly in the breeze. I set down my bags and walked straight outside, letting the warm air wrap around me. I took it all in, the view, the silence, the freedom, and posted one more picture. This time of the ocean with the caption cut from the guest list, but not from happiness. Let them see it. Let them feel what I had felt, overlooked, ignored, cast aside. Only difference was I had no regrets. The next morning, I woke to soft rays of sunlight slipping through sheer white curtains, and the distant sound of waves crashing against the shore. For a moment, I forgot everything. Forgot the hurt, the family tension, the betrayal. I was wrapped in a cocoon of peace, the kind that made you believe the world was still gentle. Then my phone buzzed once, twice, then 10 times in a row. First I ignored it. I assumed it was more reactions to my last post. Maybe Mason cracking jokes or Tara sending another living your best life meme. But then the names flashing across the screen made me sit up. Mom, Jason, Cousin Rob, Aunt Janice, Grandma. Back-to-back missed calls, voicemails, texts piling in faster than I could scroll through them. I sat up, pulled the robe tighter around me and hesitated before unlocking the screen. The first message was from Jason. Can you please answer? It's bad. Then from Mom, we need you. There's been a disaster. Disaster. I blinked, heart thudding, not from concern but from confusion. Then I opened the message from Cousin Rob. Brooke, you dodged a bullet. The party turned into a complete sh** though. I blinked at the screen, the smallest smile tugging at my lips. I tapped to read more. Apparently midway through the graduation party, Jason and Ava had a blowout argument in front of everyone. According to Rob, Jason accused her of cheating with someone from her department. She denied it loudly and the argument escalated fast. Screaming, crying, drinks spilled, people filming. At some point, Ava smacked Jason across the face, stormed out and took his car. But that wasn't even the climax. Aunt Janice tried to intervene, slipped on the patio and bruised her hip. Grandma, who hadn't even wanted to come, started crying and said the whole party was cursed. And in the background of all of this, my mom was apparently panicking, trying to pull things together. But the venue cut the open bar early due to the commotion. I scrolled stunned and mildly entertained. Then I saw the cherry on top, a video. Jason slurring, stumbling, grabbing the mic from the DJ and saying, I guess this night's about betrayal. So cheers to fake friends and faker family. The video ended with him being pulled off stage. I laughed, really laughed for the first time in days, not because I was cruel, but because this was the very party they insisted would be awkward if I attended, the one I was too dramatic for, too much of a problem for, and yet somehow they still managed to self-destruct without me. A minute later my phone rang again. This time it was Tara. I answered, already smiling. Let me guess. You're calling from the wreckage? She burst out laughing. Girl, it was like a soap opera. You would have loved it if you hadn't been banned. I grinned. Give me the highlight reel. Tara didn't hold back. She walked me through every twist. Ava storming out with Jason's car keys, Mom's sobbing in a bathroom, Uncle Rick and Aunt Janice blaming each other for not stepping in sooner, and Grandma dramatically declaring the family cursed by betrayal. I think she was quoting you, Tara joked. Perfect, I said, sipping my morning coffee with the most scenic view I'd ever had. Then Tara added something that made me pause. Oh, and by the way, people started saying the drama wouldn't have happened if you had been there. I blinked. Wait, what? Yeah. Aunt Janice told your mom that you're usually the one who talks Jason down when he spirals. Then your mom said something about how maybe they should have asked you to come after all. I stared at the screen. Let me get this straight. I was excluded because my presence might cause drama. And now they're blaming the lack of my presence for the actual drama. Tara snorted. Yep, poetic, right? I leaned back into the lounge chair on my balcony, letting the warm breeze play through my hair. I should have been angry, should have felt smug or vindicated. Instead I just felt free. They're planning some kind of family meeting when you get back, Tara added. I laughed again. Yeah, that's not happening. Didn't think so, she said with a grin in her voice. You staying out there longer? I didn't answer immediately. I looked out at the ocean. The waves curling gently across the sand, Then I opened a browser tab and searched for Hawaii resort extensions with a few taps. I added another 5 days to my stay. Then I posted one more photo, palm trees swaying under a clear blue sky, and wrote, sometimes peace means choosing to stay gone. Let them fix their mess. Let them talk circles around their regrets. Let them hold their family meetings and whisper about curses and missed opportunities. As for me, I was just getting started. The sun had just dipped below the horizon, painting the ocean in deep shades of pink and orange. I was lounging under a cabana, sipping a mango cocktail with a paper umbrella that was purely decorative but still made me feel ridiculously luxurious. The air smelled like sea salt and hibiscus. There was soft island music playing somewhere in the distance. It was perfect. Then my phone vibrated again. I rolled my eyes before even checking it. I blocked Mom, Jason, and a handful of other relatives already, but voicemails and messages were still sneaking through from unknown numbers. I debated tossing the phone into the sand, but curiosity won out. This time it was from my cousin Lisa. Okay, I know you're ignoring everyone, and honestly I get it, but I swear you're gonna want to hear this. Call me. You have to hear what Grandma said. I stared at the message for a beat, then grinned. Lisa was usually the one who stayed out of drama, which meant if she was reaching out, something truly outrageous had gone down. I hit call. She answered immediately, whispering like she was hiding behind a curtain. You're calling me. Thank God. Okay. Are you sitting down? I looked around at the 5-star beachfront resort wrapped around me like a dream and smirked. Yeah, I think I'm in a pretty good place for this, okay? She said, practically breathless. So after the whole party exploded, Ava storming out, Jason sobbing, the bar shutting down, your mom, and Aunt Janice got into it. I raised an eyebrow. Over what? You, she said flatly. I blinked. Wait, what? Yeah. Aunt Janice said the whole meltdown could have been avoided if you were there. That you're the only one who's ever been able to calm Jason when he spirals. I almost dropped my drink from laughing. So the same people who cut me out are now blaming me for not being there to clean up their disaster? It gets better. Lisa said, your mom said Janice was being dramatic, and then Grandma cut them both off, stood up, raised a finger and said, and I quote, this is what happens when you alienate family. The universe takes note. I laughed so loud that a couple walking by turned and smiled. Oh, and then she added, maybe if you hadn't treated Brooke like an outsider, Jason wouldn't be alone right now. I shook my head, stunned. Grandma actually said that? Lisa chuckled loud enough for half the room to hear. I think she was hoping you'd appear out of thin air just to say I told you so. That would have been a power move, I admitted. But anyway, Lisa said, Mom tried to reach out to the groom's family to smooth things over, and his mom said, this sounds like a personal issue. Then hung up. I nearly choked on my cocktail. Oh my God. Yep, it's been a symphony of disaster, but somehow all roads lead back to you. It's like they forgot they cut you out in the first place. I leaned back, eyes on the horizon. You know what the best part is, Lisa? What? I don't care. She burst out laughing. You know what? Good. You shouldn't. I just thought you'd appreciate hearing that karma came around wearing heels. I smiled. I appreciate it more than you know. There was a beat of quiet on the line, then Lisa said softly, you really did the right thing, Brooke. I mean it. You don't deserve the way they treat you. Thanks, I murmured. And I'm not going back, not to fix things, not to make it okay. They made their choice. Respect. She replied. So are you really staying longer? Already extended my trip, another 5 days. Lisa whistled. That's iconic. I laughed again, feeling that warm flush of affirmation settle in my chest. Let them have their family meetings and passive-aggressive texts. I'm going to have a beachfront massage and zero guilt. She chuckled. Live your best life and send me a photo of your breakfast tomorrow. I want to live vicariously. Deal. We hung up and I stared at the sky. It was deep blue now, with a scattering of stars just beginning to shimmer. I hadn't felt this weightless in years. No guilt, no obligation, no emotional blackmail wrapped in guilt-laced family talk. I opened my messages one more time and scrolled through the block notifications. Mom, Jason, even Ava. I let out a soft laugh. Then I posted one final photo for the night, my drink against the backdrop of a glowing ocean. The caption, they wanted me out so I stayed gone, best decision I've ever made. Then I turned my phone off completely, waved to the server for another round, and let the sound of waves drown out everything else for once. I wasn't the fixer. I wasn't the scapegoat. I wasn't the forgotten one waiting to be remembered. I was just free. The next morning, I woke to the sound of gentle waves and the scent of plumeria drifting in through the open balcony doors. I stretched under the soft cotton sheets, a warm sense of peace lingering in my chest. I hadn't dreamed about family drama. I hadn't woken up dreading messages or obligations, just calm. I rolled over, picked up my phone half out of habit, and hesitated. Part of me wanted to stay completely unplugged, but curiosity got the better of me. The notifications flooded in instantly. Even with most of them blocked, voicemails and texts had slipped through like water under a closed door. First one, Mom. You need to stop acting like a child and call me. This isn't funny anymore. Then Jason, I can't believe you're doing this. You're my sister. We're supposed to be family. Another from an unknown number, likely Aunt Janice. We need to talk. This family needs fixing before it's too late. I rolled my eyes and pressed delete. Their tone had shifted so fast from dismissive to desperate, from indifferent to demanding. It was almost laughable. A week ago, I wasn't even worth inviting to a celebration. Now, I was the missing piece in their crumbling narrative. Then one message caught my attention. It was from Lisa. Just a heads up. Your mom's trying to gather the family for a healing discussion when you get back. Thought you'd want to know. I actually laughed aloud. They expected me to return, sit in a circle, nod through forced apologies and pretend this hadn't happened. Like I'd be the bigger person, like I'd sweep it under the rug. Again, I typed back, "Thanks for the warning, but I won't be there." Lisa replied almost instantly, "Wait, what do you mean?" I smiled as I crafted my response. "I'm extending my trip, they wanted to cut me out." "Okay, I'm cutting myself off for good." I could almost see her reaction, that wide-eyed mix of shock and admiration. A few seconds later her response came. "Okay, that's iconic. Tell me everything when you get back." Whenever that is faced with tears of joy with a grin, I opened my laptop and clicked through the resort's booking portal. A few taps later I'd added another full week to my stay. No family meetings, no drama, no forced reconciliation, just peace before heading to the beach. I sent one final message to the group thread I had muted for days. "Oh, so now you want me around? Sorry, I'm too busy enjoying my overreaction. Have fun cleaning up your own messes." Then I blocked them all again. I tossed my phone onto the bed, slipped into a sundress and walked barefoot across the warm wooden deck toward the beach. The breeze kissed my skin, the sun lit the water in gold, and for the first time in what felt like forever there was no guilt, no anger, no weight on my chest. Just me, whole, unbothered, and finally free.